So many things went on this past weekend. Everyone got no sleep. I caught a YouTube copyright strike.
I got 3 hours.
Man, and then I had to like get up and do a bunch of work. Anyways, we want to give a quick recap on the Shanghai OQS competition that just happened for the Olympics, guys. Give it up for all the Olympic breakers who made it happen.
That's a big weekend in breaking. Big weekend in breaking.
Yeah. Yeah, so I thought it was pretty dope. It was really cool to see the competition as it occurred. They had a whole host of other events that was going on, like the BMX, skateboarding, breaking.
Rock
Did it have
climbing.
rock climbing
Yeah.
as well? Yeah, I remember. I was watching some of that.
Yeah, four major events for that weekend for that event space. So really dope.
Yeah. And then we had Cross One and Candy. So shout out to you guys for killing it on
The commentary, man.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, man.
It was colorful and professional.
Yeah. I was telling Cross One, I was telling him, I was like, man, you sound so professional, man. Like, we need you doing all the broadcasting, you and Candy. Just doing what y'all do, because y'all made it fun to watch, and I really loved it. And what else happened? What else happened? What else do you want to cover?
Man, so, I mean, they had 5 different sessions. The way they broke it up was pretty tight. And I think it jumbled
outside of the...
outside of the breaking.
Yeah.
The welcome ceremony was crazy.
Wait, you watched the welcome ceremony?
I caught a couple of clips of it.
Okay.
You go through it, and they had like 4 or 5 different pop stars coming out singing and having crazy shows featuring some of the sports that were happening this weekend or this past weekend.
Yeah.
They had fire and ice like all over the stage and stuff like that. They had BMX bikers coming out.
Now, none of that stuff I've seen, but I saw them do like the half show. They did like the halftime show during the Olympic thing for the breaking. Yeah. Yeah, man.
They put on a show for sure.
They did.
The stage, crazy. The venue looked really nice. I mean, that's the stage you want to be on if you're going to talk about the Olympics. Yeah.
All right. So first thing, let's get straight into this OQS recap. We're going to go more from a dialogue perspective on the entire event to give a quick recap on everything that we like, things that we want to highlight, things that we think you guys need to, I guess, gain some insight on, and things that we view a little bit more important. So first off, do you remember any of the names of the DJs?
One Up.
Yeah.
I don't remember the second DJ, but One Up was spinning some heat.
Yeah.
I remember liking a lot of the tracks that were on this weekend. So shout outs to One Up.
Yeah, shout out, man. Hey, doing his thing. So also another thing I want to focus on is the venue. The venue, the space, the floor. This floor looked like it was really cool to dance in. And I appreciated the colors that I seen on the floor, and it kind of made things a little bit more, I don't know, it brought a little bit more excitement to each of the individuals who were dancing on the floor. I felt like I can see everything. You know, sometimes the floor outflushes all the colors and stuff like that, but I felt like the floor this time was pretty on point.
Now, whoever designed the visuals needs a pay raise, because all the visuals for this OQS was like nice.
Man, I'm sure they got a pay raise.
Man,
like first place got $12,000.
Oh yeah.
Actually, speaking of which, let's go through the prize pool for the entire breaking category.
So prize pool, recap for everybody. First place for both B-boys and B-girls, $12,000.
So I don't know if you guys know this. First, we have to absorb this, because this is not something that's easily given. This is not given to anyone on a breaking level. It's not given to you at practically any event that I've seen happen in breaking in the States.
I've seen like 10 grand prize pools for the whole event.
Yeah.
12 grand for first place.
They throwing money at it. So they allocated over $40,000 for the B-girl section and another $40,000 for the B-boys.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah.
So in total, the entire prize pool for this event was $80,000. First place, $12,000, like Chaz has said. Second place, Was it like 7,500?
Something like that. And then I just remember not even getting to the finals. He was like $5,000. So I was like,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
you get third place. You walking around $5,000 in your pocket.
Yeah.
Like that's crazy.
So 12,000 for first.
Yeah.
75 for second. 5,000 for third place, and then I think it was like 3,050 for the placements after that. Anyone who landed in the quarterfinals.
Yeah.
And then after that, it was like 16,000, and then if you even made it to the top 16 round robin, I think everyone was allocated like 800 or something.
Bucks, yeah, if you made it to the top 16.
So hey, man, y'all came out with some money, man. I'm just, no, man.
I mean, you think about how many rounds you had to do to even get to the competition, and then how many rounds you had to do to get to top 16. Like,
yeah. So that's another thing. So going into some of the categories, or actually the entire breaking category, we had prelim, we had top 32, top 16 round robin, and then top 8. Quarterfinal, or actually, semifinals and final.
Yeah.
So already from the round robin, if you look at it, like there's 4 sections of 4 dancers, and
4 groups.
Yeah. So already from that alone, I think they already would have, like from a normal jam perspective or competition perspective, they would have at least went from like top 8 down to the semifinals to finals, like just doing the round robin section.
As many rounds as they did.
Yeah. So that's already a top 8 section that they did in between a top 8 event.
I mean, everybody had to do at 6 rounds in that section alone.
Yeah.
And then that's not even counting like getting to the round robin. So
yeah,
I mean, that had to be 8 rounds at that point, and then if you got to the top 8. If you got to the finals, you definitely did like twice as many.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
So we want to give a little shine to, actually it's not a little shine. We want to give a big shine and shout out to all the winners who came out of the event. We had B-Boy Lee, who came out of the B-Boy men's category.
Shout out, man.
And for the breaking women's,
we had Ayumi.
Ayumi really came through.
Japan came through. Ayumi came through. Japan.
Yeah, because you know, at the end when they have everyone stand on the podium and they look up and it's their flag.
Yeah,
it just said Japan all across. I was like, man, ain't this something?
They just put one flag up there. I don't put 3.
Yeah, right. Yeah. So Japan took first, second, and third in the women's category.
Crazy.
For the breaking men's category, Lee is
It was Lee.
No, what country?
Oh, Netherlands.
Netherlands. So Netherlands took it for the first place, and second and third.
So second and third,
we had Japan.
We had China, and we had, like you said, Japan.
Yeah.
So it was Lightning, and Hero 10.
Yeah.
So, I mean, the competition was
stacked. There's no complaint from me from the people who advanced into the top 16 from the entire 40 people category.
It was hard for me to judge at some points just because so many people had everything that you needed, but then you had to find stuff that you could take away from the battle, like you were saying.
Yeah, but everyone at this particular point were all high level.
Super.
Like you could have been placed in any of the sections for the round robin top 16, and it was like you're doing a Red Bull BC1 event all over again. So
I mean, if we look at some of the competitors that didn't even make it, like Kill didn't make it.
Kill didn't make it. Who else?
Khalil didn't make it.
He didn't even make it past prelims, right?
No.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, some of those B-boys have been at that top level before.
Yeah.
So when you're trying to make it to this OQS thing and you've gone to top 8 or top 4 at the Red Bull BC1 finals and stuff like that, you get this and it's like, oh.
Yeah, I know. Oh. And then what else? I guess we should probably go into some of the battles.
Yeah.
So, I guess we'll start with the prelims. So prelims was branched off into multiple different sections where you had 4 dancers on the dance floor going one at a time. So it was only 1 round per dancer. And let's see, who was your favorite out of the prelim, if you saw the whole thing?
I didn't see all of prelims, but it seemed like obviously everybody there was good. What I did think was a surprise was I thought X-Ray was going to get past. I didn't see his battle, but just as a name, he's been performing at a high level this whole time. So to see some of these names didn't get through, like X-Ray and Lil Zoo, I'm like, man. So it must have been crazy. What did you think from what you saw?
Oh man, I feel like I didn't see Lil Zoo's round, so that's one thing. And I mean, underwhelmingly, I'm gonna get crucified for it, but I didn't think that Quake performed as well as I've seen him do before. So seeing him advance, I didn't think that. And
this was
it kind of got to me that some of the other dancers didn't make it, and Quake made it pass.
So was this for you? How you felt about him in the quali round?
Yeah, in the quali round. Actually, to be honest, in his quali round, I felt like so I'll retract that. I think he did better in his qualifier round versus his other rounds. Like going into the top 16, he had knocked out. Who did he knock out? I'm trying to remember the bracket.
The top 16 had a lot of good folks there for sure.
Yeah.
But the bracket for him was let's see.
Oh, it was the top 16 because he and one other dancer.
Hero 10, Kazuya, and Leggett. So that was his group A.
Leggett. So he ended up outpacing Leggett. I almost thought that Leggett was going to have him. I almost did because I think it was a tie between him and Leggett. And he came out ahead. And to me, I was kind of like, I don't know if I would have agreed with that. That was the only one that I really kind of thought on it. But yeah, I mean, you could get placed anywhere on these brackets. And I mean, you're facing like the highest level dancer in the category. So it was interesting to see. I'd never seen the competition this high level, I guess, from a mainstream perspective. But this definitely took the cake over Red Bull, over, even in terms of, I'd say freestyle session as well. But freestyle session, I've seen some pretty high level stuff.
Well, I was going to ask that. I was like, do you think, and we haven't read off the names yet, probably get to the names in a second.
Yeah,
but,
and maybe probably over B-Boy City too.
And I was going to ask, like, do you think that this event pulled like all the talent together at one time more so than the last few Red Bull BC1 finals?
Yeah.
Like
so kind of going off of that, this past recent Red Bull BC1, right, where we had Jeffro, Khalil, and that whole
Eason was there too.
Now that was stacked.
Yeah,
that was a really stacked Red Bull BC1 World Final. I thought this was more stacked than that, and that was probably the most high level I've seen up to this point when it comes to breaking competition. But yeah, seeing it from this side, I mean, it was the people. It didn't matter who you went against. You're going to be going against someone who was extremely difficult to beat and very well crafted in their field.
It's already more. It's crazy how what you just said. This past BC1 was super stacked. And this was even more stacked than that.
Yeah.
And that's the competition that obviously we hold up the belt. Everybody knows what the belt means since 2004. So like,
I'd say that in pro breaking and freestyle session.
Yeah. Freestyle
before pro breaking got taken down, I mean, I thought pro breaking was going to be that one. But
yeah. I'm still looking forward to anything that UDEF and that whole pro breaking series is going to pull up. But the fact that like it seemed like some breakers came out of not retirement, but came out of like not battling at major events to do the Olympics.
Yeah, of course.
It's like,
right,
man. You seeing legends come out of the
I mean,
room.
some of these people. So my thing is, I didn't think that Hong Ten was gonna come. I didn't even know if he was in the running. Was he?
No, he's been
okay.
going through a few competitions.
It's probably just realized my mind. It's probably just like went over my mind. But I'm pretty sure I've seen him in some of the competitions, but it just probably just went over me right now.
I mean, he was doing both the Red Bull circuit and the
that's
Olympic
tough
circle, which is
that's tough.
Oh man, Hey, you want to get to some of these names, man?
Yeah. Let's. All right. So, do you want to go into the names of the top 32 or top 16 or top 8? Because there's too many names for us to go through all 40. We can't do that.
Yeah, I mean, I could rattle off who didn't make it.
All right, yeah, let's 16. Do that. All right, actually, let's. Do you have the prelim bracket in terms of everyone who got past the top 32?
I don't.
Okay.
But what I do have is the ranking of how everybody ended up afterward, which kind of tells you like who made it to the top 16, who did.
All right. So who are the 40 all the way up to 32?
All right. So 40 to 32. We're gonna start at 40. Janie, Alma, and this is for. Are we talking about B girls or B boys?
We can do both.
All right. So this is for B girls at this point. Janie, Alma, G Clef, Midian, Leah. Hannah, Holy Moly, Singe, I guess Singe is it?
Yeah.
Courtney Paul, and Furia. So those are the bottom 8 that did not make it past into that top 32. Yeah. Furia made it to the top 32.
And it's no dig at you guys. I'm sure you guys are high level dancers. Just to even be in the top 40 is insane. Crazy. So shout out to you guys. All right, now let's go into the B-boys.
So the B-boys, the names were there, man. It's Fly 40, Edison, Norris by Nature, Kid Tech, Ben MX, Chalky B, Mighty Duck, Tawfiq, and those are the bottom 8.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. I mean, I'm familiar with Tawfiq, but I don't think I've seen this battle either, man. Like, y'all got to understand, we were watching this thing at 2 to 4 or 5 in the morning. Got no sleep for 2 days straight, and still had to function throughout the day in order to like make it to the next one. And I think on Sunday it was still in the morning. But
I mean, it was an all day
type
of thing. Like you had to be up in the middle of the night the previous day, and then all the way through like 5 a.m. or 6 a.m. The following night to catch it.
It was like I actually fell asleep in this studio, trying to watch this thing. Like I fell asleep right there.
Oh man, trying to get that.
But I started at like 10 or 11 on one day, and then I watched maybe up until like 3 in the morning, 4 in the morning.
Yeah.
And then I woke up at 6 and it was still going on.
Yeah.
And it was the men's category. And I mean, to be fair, the women and men's category each were about 3 hours long, just the qualifying round. So they had, I think, about an hour and a half break in between intermission. And then they went into the men's after the women's category.
Yeah.
So that's over 7-8 hours of content to just sit through.
A lot of content.
I was just like, yeah, bro.
They have 5 major sessions, and the videos were like, at least the streams were like well over 3 hours. So each.
Yeah.
Each.
I mean, so shout out to you if you were still up and you were watching, but
for real.
I mean, that same night we went through. Well, actually, the HotPot went through its first monumental breakthrough, guys. So y'all give it Man, we had went ahead and I don't know how to tell you guys, but we had broke one of our records and finally achieved something that we've never achieved on this platform before. This is a staple, a stamp, a badge of honor. We had gotten our first copyright strike. And I was over here trying to stream this thing, and I fell asleep in the middle of the stream. Hey, man, I was so disappointed.
No.
Yeah, so I mean, I understand. This is my first time getting one, so I mean, like, we're gonna keep moving. We're gonna keep moving.
Look.
But
hey, man, you tried. Hey, you was trying to cover the event. That's all it was.
Well, actually, this is another good point that I want to bring up. But I thought the Olympics was gonna do a much better job of, projecting, broadcasting this entire event to the masses. But, I feel like a lot of people didn't have the visibility that we needed to really look into this. And I've seen people like Daniel talk about this online. And I mean, even me, myself, this is the reason why I tried to stream it, because I knew that a lot of people didn't have access to the footage, to anything like that. So anyone who was on the media or trying to get a media badge in order to broadcast this event so that everyone can watch it, it's kind of more of a dig at breaking, because, we take pride in taking the footage and being able to show everyone.
Yeah,
but
to share it.
Yeah, but it seemed like this particular time, like the footage and everything else that we could have, been tuned into, it didn't really get broadcasted in the way that everyone wanted it to.
Yeah, I will say that there's two sides of it for me. Is because they're taking the footage, they're putting videos together, they're putting the imagery together, right? They're taking videos and putting them on Instagram or their socials, but there comes a piece of it is like, okay, is it in the right place for us to pay attention to it? Is it in the right place for us to like really gravitate and grab hold of it? I think they don't have the best player on their website. They don't even have the best website because finding it in the first place was so difficult.
Well, we have to talk about the amount of times it crashed on the website. Yeah. Like I would be watching so many times I had to refresh the page and reload everything and then try and scroll, up to the point where I was, and and it crashes again.
There's bootleg sites with better controls than that.
I agree.
I don't know if this is too nerdy for everybody.
No, it's true. It's true, but it's true. But I mean, like I've had a better experience taking it on my phone and trying to project it onto a TV and playing it that way versus getting on my high performing computer with an AMD 5700X and an NVIDIA 3060 Ti graphics card, and then trying to run this thing, and it would crash so many times it didn't even play. I couldn't even have access to the website. So I had a problem with I'm not gonna lie, I had a problem with you guys at the Olympics. If y'all need someone, please call the HotPot. We'll go ahead and stream the whole thing for you. But I just wish that we had the ability to watch it at the same level that we're able to watch some of these Red Bull events, some of the freestyle session events. And quite frankly, I think we need like a YouTube contract with the Olympics in order for other people to watch some of this stuff. We should be able to at least.
They want all the traffic. They don't want to give it away to YouTube.
I agree.
Even though YouTube has
and I see that. I mean, the Olympic is putting something together, but I mean, if you look at it, the Olympic is a collaborative big event that everyone makes the Olympic happen. I mean, you guys aren't just throwing the show on your own. Mm-hmm. Like there's so many other people, so many other things involved in making the Olympics happen from an individual level to
I think where they make the most money though is probably the
streaming,
the streaming rights and the broadcast rights, and they sell that in different ways around the world.
Yeah, and I I'm not saying that we should have a piece of your pie in order to whatever, but I would just at least say, let's say for independent filmmakers or broadcasters, people who want to do reaction videos and everything like that, that copyright stuff needs to be lifted, at least from a broadcasting perspective, so like other people can make more reaction to it, kind of like the Cole Kendrick and Drake beat.
Yeah, we just want to be able to share a little bit more with the community.
And it seems like the Olympic is pretty stringent on not having anyone look at their stuff without their approval.
I'm gonna take some steals. I'm gonna cut up these videos. I see some of y'all posting the rounds from the finals.
Oh yeah, they're gonna find y'all too. They're gonna find y'all.
Hey, hopefully y'all don't get them strikes, man.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you better hope they don't find you. So all right, we covered into the top 32. All right, so who do we have in the top 16 round robins?
Okay,
this was hype.
The top 16 round robin. Let me get to the B girls because that was kind of nice and stacked too. So going from what eventually was the 16th, we're going with Emma from Canada.
Shout out Emma.
Yeah, and then we got Paulina.
And I was man. Actually, I'll let you go. I'll let you finish.
All right,
I'm getting too hype.
Look, getting hype. Senorita Carlota. We got Alessandra, Zion from China. Luma, got Kate, Stefani, Auntie, Vanessa, Yingzi, Sissy, Logistics, Rico, Ami, and Ayumi. Top 16.
So, something I want to say, some of my favorite B girls, man, you guys are making it hard for the B-boys to keep up with some of y'all. Some of my favorite, I'd definitely say to watch. I always got to shout her out. Vanessa. With love, man. With love.
The shock?
Yeah, I know. Why I put the shock on? That's the one I wanted to put. That's the one I wanted to put. Yeah. But I want to definitely say I want to give a big shout out to Vanessa. She's definitely one of my favorite B-girls to watch. And also at a close tie.
I mean, she got to the top 8.
Yeah, and I mean I love watching Nika too, even though I think she's already qualified. But close tie to that, man. I love watching Sissy. Like Sissy is such a talented dancer, and I love how she came through when she almost didn't make it past the what was it? I think it was past the round robin. Yeah, the round robin, and she actually made it through.
Came back
by a couple of points.
Yeah.
But so shout out to mattering. Yeah, seriously. But I was, man, and I love watching Emma too, but I feel like she didn't perform as well as I've typically seen her. And it looked like she was a little bit frustrated with her performance too.
Yeah.
Which I get that 100%. But shout out Emma. You're a dope dancer, you're a talented dancer. And in fact, her last round was, I thought, one of her best ones. I think she should have gotten a point for that. I don't think the judges even voted for it. I was like, what the hell?
Do you remember who her last round was against? I can pull up her the group.
I think her last round was against like someone like Ayumi or something. Or
she had Sissy, Rico, and Stefani in her group.
It was Rico.
Rico. Okay. Yeah.
Rico was the last one. Oh man. Yeah. Actually, Rico is one of my favorites. I'm not gonna lie. There's so much of y'all that are my favorite, but Rico, I love watching Rico too. I think she's one of the best B girls in this whole entire category.
She was on the podium, dude.
Yeah.
And actually, I was just watching a recap of some of her battles, and to be honest, I'm sitting here like, man, she low key could have been in the men's top 40 or the top 32.
Yeah.
Like, the way she goes all out.
Yeah. No, she's 100% capable. 100%.
Ridiculous.
But yeah, I thought Emma had done really good at least in one of those because she had a strong footwork round. And I feel like the judges didn't give enough points or acknowledgement to that. So, hey man, some of y'all judges, man, I think we're gonna try and save that for. Actually, no. Let's talk about the judging. How did you feel about the judging for this event? Do you feel like there was biasness? Do you think the Olympic format for judging shows biasness, or it could seep through?
That's the question. Because the format and the system that they use separates like how you're judging out based on like 5 different attributes that they're judging on the round for. And I think, you slide something over and you think, oh, this person had this much more, on this side than the other. And I don't even know if the judges necessarily think based on that slider, if they wanted to pick that person or not. You know what I'm saying?
Like you're unsure of the judges.
Like the judge might be unsure based on how many sliders they have to select, which person might get selected.
I thought there was biasness, man. I thought there was straight up biasness going on this entire weekend. I think in fact, I think they voted a particular way this round. And maybe it wasn't biased. Maybe it was just the panel and like depending on where you're at in the world, maybe those set of judges have a particular voting pattern. But I think the judges more so correlated towards the people who, had a particular style. But in some cases, I would say I think they favored some of their favorite dancers and people they wanted to see advance further than others. I would say that because, oh man, I mean, like when I was watching the qualification for Mighty Jim, I thought Mighty Jim killed it. I thought he should have.
You were telling me about this earlier. I did not get to see his battle much at all. So,
yeah, I thought he should have. I thought he should have made it.
Man, look, again, there was 40 dancers, 40, and they had to condense them things in the top 8. Like,
yeah, and I mean the competition was high. So I mean, what can you say?
Yeah,
but
I mean, B-Boy Kill didn't make it.
Yeah, but I mean, he was going against Jeffro.
He was going against Jeffro for sure. That battle was ridiculous in and of itself. But the fact that Kill is, I don't know how much he's been battling recently, but obviously he was still performing at a high level.
Yeah,
and it felt like holy snap, like this dude came out of nowhere. You think Kill is gonna be one of his top names?
So before we move into the B-boys, and sorry to cut you off, but do you want to complete what we're talking about on the B-girl side, or do we want to continue to advance into B-boys?
No, I mean that makes complete sense. But we got through the groups that were in the top 16.
Okay.
I think what we probably could do is just figure out either the groups in the B-boys or go straight to the top 8 with the B-girls.
Let's go to the top 8. Yeah. So who made top 8 on the B-girls category?
So B-girls top 8 was Auntie, Rico, Yingzi, Ami, Vanessa Logistics, Sissy, and Ayumi.
I don't have a problem with that.
That's all heat.
Yeah.
All heat.
Yeah, definitely. I thought the girls killed it in their way. Like, no one was performing at the same level as some of these women. Like, this was truly insane.
Question for you. Do you think that there is a larger discrepancy between like the top and maybe the middle or the bottom of the B-girl top 40 versus the top and the middle of the B-boy top 40? Like there might be more space between some dancers than others in terms of the competition density.
I think in the B-girls, yeah, there was more. I think the tolerance for the B-boys, I mean, it was like less than 1%.
Yeah,
like
it was
really tight. It could have gone either way when you're judging it and looking at it. I thought some of the B-girls, like it was obvious to make some of the calls that they made. But a lot of them for the B-boys, it was a lot harder to call and kind of come to that conclusion. But yeah, definitely. But I mean, at the same time, I think those B-girls who performed, I still think that they were really good, and especially in comparison to the rest of the talent the talent pool that didn't make it into the bracket. But yeah, it's just I can see it. I'd say like the split would have probably been like the B girls is like plus minus 4%, and the B boys was plus minus 1%.
Yeah, because there were some B girls who I was looking at. I was like, man, you crazy! You to have these different contrasts of style and the contrast of the way that they approach, but then you could see some people had their proficiency a little bit more solid than others. So it was just something I noticed. And the B girls who made it to the top 16 and eventually the top 8, it really showed out like that why they were heads above the rest.
Yeah,
that ended up making it.
So let's go ahead.
I was just gonna say I wanted to point out like that contrast thing I was talking about. Rico versus Auntie was interesting. Like Rico was going crazy with all of her moves and all of her combos, but then you see Auntie kind of like combating that with a lot of the style and trying to use the music to really dance against that. I think she put up a really, really good fight. Really
a valiant fight.
Yeah.
Valiantly fought.
I mean, what's the whole?
Nah, for real. I mean, yeah. I mean, I'd have a hard time even placing in the B-girl category if I was up there. So,
dude, so what was one of your favorite B-girl battles? In the top 8.
Favorite B-girl battles. So some of them that I was looking for in the top 8. I would definitely. It was a Ayumi battle. Ayumi had battled someone, and I can't remember.
It's either Yingzi or Rico.
Then it was probably Rico. Yeah, I think that was a pretty good battle.
Wait, really Ayumi or Ami?
Ayumi.
Ayumi. She battled Sissy and then Logistics.
Okay.
Yeah, and then
okay. Man, talent was so high. All right, so Logistics was also another one that I like to watch. However, I would say coming to this event, I think she looked like she was kind of holding back, or at least kind of tuned her dancing to be a little bit more safer, not as revealing with a lot of the mistakes that she could potentially lead herself into. So it looked like she was trying to play more of the safe game, throwing jabs and like using that more of her strategy to try and advance further on. Sissy, man, Sissy is like my favorite B girl right now. Like, man, nah, Sissy. Come on, hey, throw it out there. Like Sissy was definitely throwing like a whole lot of things. She was holding no punches. When she needed to do something, she would do it. Like, I like the fact that Sissy was really into it, and like Sissy did not hold back. At least from how it looked like to me, I didn't see her holding back, and I really enjoy watching her at this event. And I've progressively been seeing her advance, like even from Red Bull VC1, like to now, like Sissy is like probably one of my top
next level
top B girls. Yeah,
it is kind of crazy though. Even if you see a B girl or B boy in the top 8, because that top 8 was so stacked. Even if they got left in the top 8, like they performed crazy, right? But then she has no shame because she lost against the person
that won.
So it's like you can't feel too bad about it, but at the same time, leaving the top 8, man.
Yeah. All right. So let's go into this. Let's go into the final battle. Final battle for B girls.
Final battle, I believe, was Ami and Ayumi.
Yeah.
So this battle, I caught the end of it, but it just seems like it didn't seem like the contrast was as crazy as some of the battles from before.
Yeah.
I'm pretty good with the result. I think Ayumi has been throwing some stuff that I think some other people can't throw.
Yeah. Well, however, I think Ayumi was kind of trying to play catch up to the rest of the competition. Like I think Ami and like some of the other B girls had, advanced much better throughout the Olympic process in comparison to Ayumi. But she really outshined the talent at this particular event and really came through with a surprising win to me. Because I mean, she didn't perform as well as all the other B girls historically in comparison to this overarching theme of the Olympic competitions and everything leading up to OQS. But this time around, man, it was not surprising, but it was very telling. Like I can see that, like she's making it far, and I can see, all right, well, okay, yeah, she won. Oh, okay, she won that battle too. Okay, oh, it makes sense that she's number 1. So.
Okay, do you think? And this is a question because I saw just in the beginning of the bracket that Rico would get to the finals.
Yeah.
And she lost against Ami. Ami's pretty well-rounded, I think.
Right.
But who do you think should have gotten past at that point?
I would have to answer this so biasly, but I would definitely say I prefer Rico. Like just because she's a new upcoming talent, and I enjoy watching her dynamics and seeing, because she's just very unpredictable. And I'm not saying Ayumi is predictable, but seeing Rico dance, I'm seeing more of the certain flavor of dance style that appeases to me. Yeah. So like seeing that really was a really good thing and cool thing to see.
Yeah, I definitely need to go back and like analyze that battle to figure out what the decision, how I feel about the decision on that level. Yeah. But I'm kind of with you. I'm like, man, look, I saw that going I saw her going to the finals.
Yeah. All right.
Shout out to them. Shout out to Japan.
Yeah. Shout out to Japan for completely taking
destroying everybody.
they took all the blocks.
Yo.
They didn't leave no room for anyone else.
But USA, we're number 4.
Hey, I mean, USA.
Shout out to logistics, man. She got
yeah. USA, man. I mean, we fell a little bit behind at this event, but I mean, it's okay. USA. But actually, this is
She's
another
the highest placing US person.
Well, no, but this is the problem that I have. So why is it that, you had to qualify for so many other events? Let me say that again. So why did you have to qualify for so much of these other events to the point where you've accumulated and amassed so much points that they didn't tally in the format of, all right, your final score, whoever has the most amount of points, we're going to cut off at 10 and then you guys go into the Olympics, rather than saying we're going to take your averages from here and we're going to take it from here, and whoever placed the highest at these two, you guys are going. Like, I feel like that was a little bit unfair because people who've, performed their best and, went to the most competition and done all these other things, these guys should have, they should have more of the leverage to still compete.
Well, I think you just said it, which is you could technically go to a lot of competitions if you had the forethought, the time and the money to go out and compete at as many competitions as you were eligible for beforehand. And that would allow you to potentially get more points.
Well, but that's the crux, because the thing is, all of these dancers went to the same events.
Not every one, right? There's some dancers that either missed out on the what do you call it? The championship level events, the games level events where you could win the straight ticket. And there's some people who went to the lower level events, got some points there, but only got points enough to qualify for the
right. But my thing is, if you had qualified to go to some of the game level Olympic Games events, then I think you're a runner up. That should have. You came close to winning. So I think you should have much more of the likelihood of being able to advance to the next stage, rather than just saying, all right, anyone who was top 1 through 5, you guys equally have the same amount of chance to get into the Olympic as top 35 and 40. Like, it seems like a large cross in between, or a large spread like that doesn't necessarily justify itself. But
I will say that there's other events that I guess we could point to, which is there's a lot of events where you have to qualify to go to the Olympic trials for, right? We're in track and field and running and things like that. And maybe the difference is you have these other organizations leading up to the Olympic organization, like Breaking for Gold, right? Organized pretty much all of these events leading up to OQS. But OQS is an Olympic event, right? An Olympic trial event rather than the Breaking for Gold. So I think that might explain why the top 40 had to be selected, and then at an Olympic sponsored event, this is where they make the decision at an Olympic level. So it makes sense to me.
It don't make no sense to me.
It makes sense.
It looked like some leg pulling, some straight biasness.
Well, everybody gets put on an equal playing field after you get.
But it's never been that case, because if one particular, let's say Victor, for instance, I didn't see him enter into as many competitions as, let's say Jeffro or Gravity.
Yeah.
But now, since I went to a few events, and now I'm just in the Olympics.
At the beginning of the series, it seemed like you had to qualify to go to certain events.
But here's my thing: everyone who took it very seriously and decided to enroll early and compete at the qualifying events, those guys are being more punished than the guys who are just sometimes, in a way, just kind of let into the whole thing and are just like, all right, well, you guys gonna win, and because I don't think it's fair to say top 5, you guys are going to have to compete against top 35 to 40.
Yeah.
Like, there's that makes no sense to me.
Well, here's one thing I'll say. I don't know how many events were, let's say, have been put up in Oceania or in Africa, for example, right? But they had a Continental Games for those two places that might not have had as many Breaking for Gold events.
Right.
So in a way, they tried to kind of even it out with some of those straight ticket opportunities.
And I can see that. I guess you have a point with that. But yeah, I still, because if you're in North America, you had the opportunity to compete in North America, but there was a long, extensive list of events that you had to do just to qualify for the big one. For sure. And the same thing was true if you wanted, if you had gained all these points, you can go over to Canada and then compete there. But also there's,
leading up was
all the other stuff going on.
Leading up was confusing for sure.
Yeah.
The cutoff of the top 40 at least made sense to me, right? To put everybody on an even playing field and then evaluate from there, and not based on some, point system that we don't even think was 100%, fair in the first place because
I don't think
they
it's
changed the point system.
No, yeah, of course,
so.
but I mean, even so, like if I had decided to move and proceed throughout this whole entire thing with the intent of like, all right, well, let me do this valiantly and acquire as much points legally possible, then I don't necessarily think that we should just reset your score either.
Well, the points were a qualification for the qualification. So at that point,
because my thing is, it's like I don't think track does that.
Well, they base theirs off of time,
right?
So I mean, if you make it into a top time in a particular region or a particular continental event for them, then you qualify to go to the next international event. So they still kind of have a ranking system that leads up to a qualification. But again, the points thing it was kind of weird leading up just because the rules were
because my thing is, it's like it seemed like it would be different if after every event you did, things reset. But it isn't like that, because it'd be different if it was like, all right, let's do this event, top 3, you're moving on to this one. Then you get selected for the top 3 and then you move on to the next thing, and then if you qualify, whatever. But that's just not the case at breaking. It's just,
as far as the people who made it to the top 40, I ain't mad at it.
I'm not mad at the people who made it to top 40. I'm just I find it slightly annoying and a little bit, what's the word, how you say it? Kerfuffled. I find it a little bit abusive in terms of like, how do you take top 5?
So if it was a championship, if this whole thing was a single championship, I would agree with you, because then you're trying to basically gain a prize from all of these efforts, and you're saying that all the people that were able to be involved from the beginning had all the chances to gain as many points as possible, just like this other person that gained as many points as they possibly could. If it was a championship, that would make sense. But because it was a qualification thing, like here's how many events you can participate in to gain as many points as possible to be in the top 40. That's your goal, be in the top 40.
It's still play of favorites, because one, all right, so we're going to also say this, only 2 dancers per event. Actually, not per event, but 2 dancers per country can represent their country at the Olympics, right? On either side of the category, whether that's female or male. Only 2 dancers represent each country, but they made it a thing where they're like only 1 dancer can qualify every year. So there shouldn't be any repetitions of dancers this year, just as they did last year, because if it was last year, people like Jeffro would have advanced and Victor. So, they both would have taken up the spot. But my issue with what you're describing is that, it would be a different process if it were like, okay, well, let's reset and go from here and see who wins. But if you have particular events where you block out other dancers from even competing, and then saying that, okay, if you win this, you go directly into Olympic, then that'd be unfair. Like if we had those particular type of stipulations on the entire event overall, like I can't say like, all right, well, your points erase, first you have to do, like, let's say 10 different qualifying events, and then you accumulate so many points, and whoever has the most points go to this last one, which qualifies you for a spot to try and compete for the last couple of spots in the Olympic. In comparison to you saying, all right, everybody try and get as much points so you can go to this event. Now, on some of these select events, if you don't win this one, then you just can't compete in this one, which will automatically qualify you for the Olympic.
I feel like the line that was supposed to be drawn from feeder level event to mid-level event to championship series level event was very blurry, and supposedly there were differences for these level of events, and they all didn't even, the way that they looked didn't all represent what level of event they were. But from what I read, they had 6 events that would qualify you directly to the Olympics, right? And 5 of them were based on region. There was one that was based in Belgium that we saw, where Victor got his ticket to the Olympics. that qualified you.
But it shut out everyone else in the U.S. who had higher points than Victor, which makes no sense to me.
That was weird. Because the point system seemed like it didn't matter at that point, which was very because it's like, how do you have a point system, but then everything else is based on the battle itself, which winning the battle is what it's about.
It's part of the process.
It was but muddy.
Like, cutting off, if you were top 5, right, and Victor, let's say Victor and whoever else was, let's say 40. Mm-hmm. And if he won, then that cut off top 5. Mm-hmm. That makes no sense to me. Like, it makes no sense. But anyways,
I will say we're here now, and we got some really, really good U.S. support in the in both brackets, in both B-boy and B-girls.
All right, let's go into B-boys, man.
Yeah, man, because we had some crazy people that appeared on this call sheet.
So prelim, who do you like from prelim?
From prelim that didn't make it?
Yeah. So 40 to 32.
Yeah. So we named these off already, but we'll do Fly 40, Edison, Norris by Nature, Kid Tech, Ben MX, Chalky B, Mighty Duck, and Tawfiq.
Yeah. I wish I could have seen more Tawfiq. In fact, I think I need to review the battles because I only watched it once.
There's so many.
Like this isn't something that you can watch more than once.
I mean,
it's like 3 hours long.
I mean, if you sat down and watched everything all the way through, you would have spent more than 15 hours, like just straight up watching. Like that's a lot.
All right, so let's see. Top 32.
So we got Lenny from Brazil, Neo San, Kill from Korea.
All right. So for this one, you don't have to necessarily read through all of them. I'm just wondering.
What's some names that...
Or what was your battle of top 32 on the B-boy side?
So I didn't see top 32, but some of the names that were sticking out to me were Matita, B-boy Kill, Lil Zoo, and X-Rain.
Yeah.
Those names, you don't necessarily expect them to, quote unquote, fall out of a competition. And I'm like, man, that was kind of crazy. If the competition is that high that those 4 fell out of the competition,
Yeah. Yeah. No, I mean, it was a pretty tight competition to see Kill get knocked out early. But Jeffro was on. He was on a murder spree.
Man, the stare down. I saw the bull's eyes in his face.
Jeffro was going in, man. He was going in, bro.
Shout out to the man.
All right, so let's go into the top 16 round robins for the men category.
Look, I know y'all saw it on Instagram. I know y'all saw what the groups were. These groups were stacked. So we're gonna start with Group A. Was Hero 10, Quake, Kazuya, Leggett.
Yeah, my money was on Leggett to get past. Him and you said Quake and who else?
Kazuya and Hero 10. So
Hero 10, yeah. So it would have been Leggett and Hero 10. That's who my predictions were at first.
I agree with you. I ain't gonna lie, but Quake surprised me. I really liked what he brought to the floor. I think he brought a level of entertainment that not everybody tries to even go for, but it was entertaining to me. So I ended up appreciating it.
All right, Group B.
Group B, Hong 10, Eason, Alvin, and Lussy Sky.
Alvin and Hong 10 would have been mine.
It was stacked. Alvin, I really liked what he had to bring, but yeah, Eason and Hong 10 got past. We go to the next one. It's also stacked. Jeffro, Lee, Sonny, and Minnow.
Man, Jeffro came through with a win, bro. And this is something that, you really got to appreciate when you see it. But to be down and still be like, I still can make it.
He was 0-2, and then he was 2-2. And then he was 4-2. Like, he came all the way back from the...
Yeah. And I actually disagreed with the judging on his battle when they did Lee versus Jeffro. I thought Jeffro took the second round. I could give the first round a lead.
Yeah.
But I thought Jeffro definitely took that second round.
I know where you're coming from. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a little too...
Because he went in and did some signatures and stuff like that. And, I mean, he was hitting his stuff. And Menno, I actually really like what Menno was doing this time. But I think some of the inefficiencies in his battle tactics show.
I was going to say that Menno battle was hard for me to judge, bro.
Yeah.
I almost thought it was 1-1, to be honest. But, you know, you never bet against the hometown hero. You know what I'm saying? But to be honest, even to do what he did, because you talk about what he did. He went 4-2 against his group, and he went 2-0 against a 3-time Red Bull BC1 world champion. That can't be understated.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, he just got to the finals and battled with Hong Ten. I mean, he just battled Hong Ten, the most recent BC1 world champion, at the after party in Brazil.
Yeah.
I thought that was crazy. Knocking Menno out of the top.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
Man, I want to give a big shout out to Sonny, man, because I thought Sonny did really good, but
yeah,
like he had a tough bracket. Like I would definitely say like his bracket, I thought, you know, the individual dancers on there were stronger in terms of this Olympic format grading. The competitions in his bracket were stronger, but I love Sonny's style. I love what he does, and I think he's a really creative dancer. But
I agree with you, and I'll say like I think we were talking earlier that Sonny, I think he deserved higher than 16th in the ranking. I don't know what it was, but it seemed like there were a lot of mixed votes in some of these battles and some of these rounds. But for Sonny, the votes weren't that mixed at all, and I kind of don't know why.
Yeah.
But you know, maybe just have the same mind. Yeah.
All right. So Group D.
Group D.
Last one.
Wing, Amir, Lightning, and Gravity.
Wait, you said Amir. Who else?
B-Boy Wing.
All right. So Wing. So Amir, Wing, Lightning, and Gravity.
Yeah.
Amir, Wing, Gravity, Lightning.
Mm-hmm.
Lightning, definitely, I could see him being top of that bracket.
I honestly didn't know what to expect because I think, at least from China, I was paying more attention to like 671 and X-Rain, right? So there was one other battle I think I saw Lightning at before, but I don't know. He didn't really stick in my head. This time,
that man's a monster, man.
He came with some heat.
But so I honestly thought Amir was gonna make it. I thought he was gonna make it past because he's historically been a hard person to judge. Good, and not from my perspective, but from a lot of other individuals. But he didn't. It looked like Gravity came out with Lightning. Gravity, he didn't look like he was dancing like Gravity. To me.
I'll say I think he was measuring a lot more than he should have been. And I distinctly remember one battle. I forget who he was going against, but it was 1-0 for Gravity. And I think because his momentum was up at that point, he slowed down just a little bit. And all he needed to do was seal the deal with the battle. Yeah. But the votes mattered. The votes mattered in this competition to figure out what your ranking was really going to be. And if you had more votes than another person that had the same record as you, well, you were going to be basically ranked up against him. And I think that hurt him a little bit, that he took his foot off the gas just a bit.
Yeah, Gravity, you got to be big. You got to go in strong with the power, with what you're known for. Like, do you.
But he had the flavor. The flavor was all there. What'd you think?
I don't know if I like that version of Gravity. That's it.
Okay.
I'm not going to say it was bad, but I don't know. It just didn't look like Gravity. Like I've watched Gravity for years since I've been in high school, and like I said, it didn't look like him.
Do you think being on an Olympic stage versus being at like a big B-boy jam has an effect on how you feel?
Nah, because I've seen Gravity on big stages. I've seen him on stages bigger than that Olympic stage, and it just looked like he was doing like some of the footwork stuff concept. I was like, I've never seen him do this stuff. In fact, some of it, you know what? some of it looked very similar, and I'm not trying to get crucified. It looked very similar to Jeffro, in terms of footwork. And then but it was just his approach this time. It wasn't my favorite. My favorite type of gravity was the gravity that I've seen go against Victor. Like high flying, big moves,
going hard. Yeah.
And I'm not saying gravity's the dude. Like, I mean, he's well talented dancer. He can do a lot of things
for sure.
But yeah, I think that's probably what he needs to stick with.
I wonder if the rules and what the judges are looking for based on the system colored any of that approach at all. Because
I think he would have scored higher with that. Yeah. All right, so let's go into the top 8.
Top 8.
All
right, so pulling out this bracket right here, the top 8, and these are the matchups: Eason versus Lee, first round. Gravity versus Hero 10.
Wait, so Eason and Lee.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Lee makes sense. All right. And then Gravity versus who?
Hero 10.
Hero 10 is a hard one. God. But yeah.
Quake versus Lighting.
Yeah, for sure.
Jeffro versus Hong 10.
I would have said Hong 10, but when I actually watched the battle, I only say Hong 10 because I know who he is historically, his accomplishment. But Jeffro outperformed. Like, I'm telling you, what I've seen Jeffro do this round of OQS and everything, it's insane. Like,
man,
hey man, we ain't trying to look like we riding Jeffro, but hey man,
look.
I mean, he might, but I mean, like,
hey, don't be doing me like that. Hey, look, tell us what y'all think, because like some of these battles, they were
really
so
close. So close. I think the Hongton and Jeffro battle was so close, but I agree with the decision. I think the decision.
I was gonna say the Hero 10 versus.
Or I can let it pass. I can let the one pass. But you said what was it?
I was gonna say the Hero 10 versus Lee battle. Like Lee getting past Eason was crazy, right? Crazy hard battle, but
Hero 10 gave up, right? He gave up. He gave up, but
that last round,
he started crashing. I can see that he wasn't as sharp as he was supposed to be,
which is crazy because I feel like a lot of people really wouldn't have been able to see it, but he knew it himself.
I started kind of noticing.
Yeah,
like he was doing some stuff where he wasn't exactly sticking it, and like it was causing the next move that he was going to do.
Yeah,
to like have some screw ups in it.
Yeah.
So like right before he just completely gave up, like he danced like really into that corner where Lee was standing.
The spacing was so
and
off.
It was just like I think he understood. Like he was like, man, I can't do this anymore.
But what's crazy is we're talking about a level of b-boys that are, it was hard to judge at this point, right? Yeah. And to be honest, none of that was a crash. None of that was. I think he was out of position. But to be honest, it didn't feel like he couldn't have recovered from that and finished his round as well.
I don't know, man. Because like when it comes to power and doing all these dynamic moves, like once you don't have the proper footing and you throw something, it's hard to catch up back into the momentum of where you can start hitting your power the proper way.
I mean, this is Hero 10 we talk about. We've seen him throw some wild stuff from nowhere.
This is for anyone.
I mean, we've seen him throw some wild stuff.
It don't matter. It don't matter who he is. I like if you have the wrong footing, like let's say going into a windmill and you slip, right?
That man don't even need footing, bro. He'll be on his hands.
Well, actually, I think this was an issue that he did have. I think he did something where he didn't quite have the proper like grip onto the ground, and he tried to do something, but now it screwed up everything else he was gonna do.
No, I 100% saw what you're talking about. I just don't think he needed to give up in that moment, or at least cut it as short as he did to complete a good round, because in my opinion, he's still, even though you're seeing the little mess ups, and obviously at this level we're paying attention to that,
right?
I don't think it should have colored his mind in a way that he should have got up in.
I thought so too.
Yeah.
I you see, I'm not the type that would just give up, especially if it's your third round. And I think the score went red, blue, and then red. So like it was like if he kind of just stuck through it. Because the judges were starting to like favor him and the whole, grand scheme of the battle, but because he gave up, now now you'll never know.
Yeah, it was a close one.
All right, next battle, what's one?
So the next round would have also been Lithing versus Hong Ten, right? And
Wait. So you said out of the top 8, that was everyone from top 8?
Yeah.
After Jeffro and Hong Ten?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Oh, okay.
So it was Quake and Lithing, Jeffro and Hong Ten, Gravity and Hero 10. And obviously...
Yeah, so what do you think about Quake? But you were about to say something.
Oh, I was just going to say Quake was, like I said, entertaining. I think the judges made the right decision on this go around. But I enjoy watching that battle and watching Quake. It was just something. But Lithing was coming through with some stuff I just didn't expect. From his top rock, I wouldn't have thought he was going to be as good. But then he started getting down and throwing combos and moves that I was just like, okay.
So it looked like the more younger talents were beating the incumbents, or in a way, because I would have said like at least the expectation. The expectations for me were that the incumbents were gonna just continue to mow the competition. So like when you're just looking at it front face, like looking at, let's say, Jeffro versus Hong Ten, you're like, oh, Hong Ten's gonna win. But when you saw how Jeffro battled him, you'd be like, actually, I vote on Jeffro. And the same thing happened to me when I was watching Lithing go against Hong Ten. I was like, I think they're going to give it a Hong Ten. But like when you watched it, I was like, Lithing, I thought he took it.
He 18.
Which he did take it.
Yeah.
But that was a really interesting battle. And, I think people were trying to say that he was unoriginal. Like some of the movements he was doing wasn't his and he was biting Hong Ten, whatever. But this is why we tell y'all, how y'all going to judge this, huh? Like, I mean, there should be a particular part of the judging rubric. There should be a particular part of the rubric that, clearly identifies, self-creative moves and getting points for that, or you get a mock for that. But how do you judge it?
Yeah, that would get messy real quick.
Yeah.
But what I will say about Lithing is that it seemed like some of the things were inspired, let's say, but
I didn't think he was biting. Maybe I don't think so.
Somebody called him out super hard.
Someone called him with the shirt over the head and doing the backflip.
Yeah, and I think somebody called him out in a battle during this OQS.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was one of the earlier battles he did. But I would say that what I learned about him through the battles was that he had some very mature combos, but the maturity in his breaking didn't show in every single thing he did. Right. But then there were so many things that he brought to the table that were mature combos or were mature forms of dance that he had obviously practiced that shined out much more than I think some of the things he didn't have. So well deserved. Definitely. Obviously worked hard. But wow.
Definitely.
Yeah. And then the final. Because we talked about everything else. The final.
Final time. It's final time. Final, guys. Final time.
Lee versus Lithing.
I'm trying to remember this battle. I'm having a hard time remembering this battle.
You think about all the others.
I mean, everything was just so good.
Many, yeah.
I think Lightning was becoming the crowd favorite.
I mean, in Shanghai. They were in Shanghai, so you got the home crowd. They had LED signs
But I thought it was well deserved. I thought Lee took it for sure. I thought Lee won. Lee was way more creative. I think his entire style, his switching of flow. He really tried to check every box off when it came against going against Lightning. But when I seen him go against some of the other competitors, he didn't, take the same approach. So I thought this time he really was like, all right, I need to do this, and this.
I think it was really close, but Lee, as a dancer, I think stood out more. Lee, as a creative, stood out a little bit more. the skills that Lything put out, I think, were a little bit more high level in some rounds.
I agree with that. Lightning, almost everything he does is impossible. Like, I mean, his power combos or his blow ups, should I say, are all high level.
I will say that there was one or two moves that I saw Lee do that I was just like, I don't even know how that's possible. And it's this, one of the moves is this like rotational forearm slide that he does when he's kind of doing like a stab windmill. I'm like, yo, pulling that out against somebody who's basically throwing all high level skills, I think was the right move.
Yeah. Like, yeah, he was definitely saving that for the final, man.
Oh, for sure. But with that, I mean, the final decision when that came out, like, what did you think of the celebration that was had?
So how did the votes go? It was red, blue, red, something like that?
I believe so.
Or it was like a split vote decision. I obviously thought it was a close battle. Lee just showed that he's more of a performer than Lightning. And he showed it in the way that he danced. He showed it in, the way that he came up with his own signatures and like was able to show his signatures. His signatures separate himself from the rest of the crowd in comparison to Lightning's signature separating him from the crowd.
Very different movement.
Yeah. So I think those are some of the things that stuck out, and those are kind of what gave Lee the advantage over Lightning and eventually took the number one spot. But they're both in really good positions right now. Lee has first, Lightning second.
I mean, so you
Hero
top
10
seven,
third.
you in.
Yeah. Hero 10 third. Yeah, this is going to be really good to watch. So I can't wait to see what's going to happen in Budapest, Hungary. But yeah, I mean, I think the competitions there is going to be even harder. And in fact, I think the OQS competitions are going to be harder than the Olympics.
Probably, actually, because, I mean, you think about it, it's going to be a top 16 two brackets. You're going against 40 dancers to qualify to get into a top 8 to qualify. So this probably is hard.
I feel like most of the dancers, once they make it into the Olympics, they're like, I don't care.
Nah, they want the medal.
No, of course they want the medal, but they're like, I'm here.
I mean, once you're there, you do to get
like think about it like this. OQS, I lose in OQS or I lose at the Olympics. Where would you rather lose?
Yeah, but if you're a winner, though, get that medal.
That's not the question.
If you
that's not the question.
If you're a winner,
you're avoiding the question.
If you're a winner,
you're avoiding the question super hard.
If you're a winner,
you're still avoiding the question. Like in most cases, I think the dancers, like, everyone's competing as hard. I will break my arm. Like, this is how the dancers are thinking. I will break my arm and 3 toes if it means I can at least get into the Olympics.
Your arm and 3 toes?
Yeah. Which actually did happen.
It's a very specific number.
I didn't even say that, but it actually did happen to me. I broke my right arm and had my 3 toes.
Oh, man.
But, I mean, I would do whatever it took for me to win at OQS.
No question.
Which meant that I can be at the Olympic. If I had to show up to the Olympics with a cast on my arm and like a cast on my leg, I would do that versus, not being able to qualify.
Hey, no question, man. Representing your country is, I think, one of the biggest honors you can have.
Yeah.
So you want to rattle off the top 7 as of this moment, and then I guess
we'll close out.
Yeah.
But so who we got as the top 7?
So, as you know, the top 7 from the OQS are qualifying for the Olympics. That's where they're going to take 7 of the folks from. And so the top 7 in the B-Girls bracket as of now are Ayumi, Ami, Rico, Logistics, Sissy, Yingzi, Vanessa, and Auntie. Vanessa.
Stack. And I thought India was going to make this list, man, but...
Well, India is already qualified.
Oh, that's right. Okay.
So she's straight to it.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, never mind. All right.
Good timing.
For the B-boys.
All right. Top 7 for the B-boys bracket as of now is Lee, Lything, Hero 10, Hong 10, Jeffro, Gravity, and Quake. So...
Stack.
Crazy.
Man, congrats to all of you guys, man. Because these guys are really making it happen. And to their credit, man, I think, man, this is going to be a bloodbath when it comes to going to Hungary.
It's gonna be a last chance.
Yeah. So,
and if you didn't make any real high level points last time, I mean, this is your last chance to even. You got to make top 8. You know.
Yeah, and I think it's still gonna stand, or they're saying one person per country will qualify.
Yeah, so there's probably some shifts that are going to happen. Obviously, the 3 ladies aren't going to all make it to the Olympics. There's a limit. But, yeah, the next competition, like you said, bloodbath, bro.
Yeah, but also in this particular situation, we have 2 U.S. representatives on the podium right now, and currently only one could make it. So, we got Jeffro and Gravity. So this next event is going to be crazy. And I don't know if there's anyone else from other countries who are currently from the same place who are on the top 7. You said Minnow was there?
Minnow is not there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Minnow's ranked 9, so he's just out of it.
Just out, yeah.
Yeah. For what it's worth, the honorable mention is Eason. He's ranked 8th, which is just outside of the qualifying thing. But obviously, Hero 10 and Eason, if they make some points up, they can't go together.
I guess so. There's no other duplicates in the top 7 in the men's category?
No.
All right, guys. Well, try not to poison each other's food and whatnot, because I know this game is going to get real dirty very soon. People are going to be copying moves and trying to send AI.
The war game. Oh, man.
People are going to do whatever they can in order to try and qualify for the Olympics, man.
Don't eat them chicken nuggets that got that weird meat in it, bro.
Yeah. And actually, another thing before we close this out, but I'm wondering how some of these dancers are going to keep up with the jet lag and stuff like that. I mean, you're flying and then you got to compete.
That's the other side of the world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So especially for Shanghai, I think this was probably one of the most difficult to try and adjust to in terms of time.
For
time
sure.
Zone.
I think they fly in a few days early, so they try to get adjusted within 2-ish days. But yeah, flying to the other side of the world and then having to figure that out, not less than a month away from the previous competition. I don't know, man.
All right. But yeah. I mean, that's gonna be something to consider. But I mean, you guys seen it here. We did the live recap. So if you like what you saw, like, subscribe, drop a comment. Let us know who do you think should have won. Let us know. Do you think anyone bit anyone else? Do you think I don't know, the competition was unfair? Do you think the judging was bad? Just let us know. This is a discussion, and let's just have it. So until next time, we'll catch you in Hungary.
We got 5!